Hey guys, it's Dan, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. First and foremost, thank you all for the love on the past few videos. I really appreciate it. But today, I kind of want to talk about something that recently happened to me, and it's about being uncomfortable. And the reason that I'm talking about this is it actually happened to me a couple times within the last 24 hours. And the first one involves this channel. And what happened was the lady that I started talking to was asking questions about like my computer, why I needed this microphone, things kind of like that. And it got brought up that I create content and things like that. And I'm more of a like secretive person, so I don't really like sharing a whole lot of information about myself. And I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I make content, stuff like that. She had asked what the channel is, and I was like, yeah, that's not important, right? We don't need to talk about that. And she goes, I'm gonna find it. And I go, I bet you won't. Well, I'm to find out, because all women, you all are lovely FBI detectives, even if you don't work for the Bureau. And of course, she ended up finding the channel and was kind of poking fun at me a little bit. It wasn't anything hurtful or harmful, anything like that. It was more just kind of like, oh, well, there's that video that I saw you editing. Here it is. So yeah, it kind of put me in an uncomfortable, awkward situation, because I don't really like people knowing that I do this kind of stuff in my personal life, because I've had bad experiences from it in the past where a lot of people try to talk down on me with it. So it was kind of one of those things where it was like, all right, you know what, maybe let's not do this. And I didn't really like talking about it, but after a little bit, it ended up being okay. So you kind of have to be able to deal with those uncomfortable situations that are going to happen from time to time. And whether that be with something like creating content here on YouTube, creating stuff on Instagram, or even just awkward situations that make you uncomfortable at work. That's my second one, was something that happened to me actually today before making this video. And it was getting a call from one of our members he's just really abrasive and doesn't really understand how things work, and doesn't like it when it doesn't work the way that he wants. And so that was kind of an awkward situation for me, where he was just kind of being, for lack of a better term, a jerk to me, and wanting things done that I couldn't do, and wouldn't accept any of my answers. So trying to think on the fly and figure out things that would appease him but also not get me in trouble was another situation that really made me uncomfortable. And I think you have to be able to figure out your responses in these situations and try to adapt and use different forms to make it not uncomfortable for you. For me personally, the biggest one that I tried to do is I tried to do the reverse psychology thought process of it, where like last night I was kind of like, okay, yeah, you know what? I make content. I'm a nerd, whatever, at least I'm doing something and I have hobbies, things kind of like that. I try to make it seem like they're the ones missing out by not doing it, and I'm not weird for being the one that does it. So you kind of have to figure out different things like that that work for you in order to get yourself out of these uncomfortable situations. And you kind of almost need to expose yourself to them more, I feel like, because the best way to get through these uncomfortable situations, whether it be something with like creating content, uncomfortable people, or even just making yourself uncomfortable to go and talk to new people. That was one of my biggest things that made me uncomfortable, because I'm not, in my mind, a people person. But it's something that you have to do. In order to meet new people, you have to force yourself into uncomfortable situations. And I know firsthand, this really sucks. For a long time, and even still now, it does make me uncomfortable, but for a really long time, you could not force me or pay me or do anything to try and get me to go talk to a new person, let alone a pretty girl. Because for me personally, I would rather figure out a way to chew my own arm off with no teeth than try to talk to a pretty girl at the bar. And it's really strange. I had to force myself into a lot of uncomfortable situations, and it made it even like more uncomfortable for me personally, because of the fact that I was forcing myself into it. And girls can definitely tell when you're forcing yourself, because they're like, yeah, no, this is weird. You get the uncomfortable laugh and things like that. But the more and more that you do it, you'll start to pick up and realize the things that you do well and the things that you don't do well. And as long as you have that inner monologue kind of thing where you can kind of talk to yourself a little bit and make adjustments, you'll come to see the things that are important, the things that do work, and the things that don't. And as long as you focus more on the things that do and start cutting out the things that don't, it'll make these uncomfortable situations a lot more comfortable. It is a form of exposure therapy, which is annoying and it sucks. I hate it. I don't understand why we have to have anxiety and these different things like that. But sometimes you are just going to be uncomfortable and there's nothing that you can do about it. And you just have to learn how to cope with it and don't let it eat you alive. I know for me, a lot of the times it eats me alive. I had a uncomfortable moment where I had sent a very awkward text that was complaining about someone completely unrelated to my director at my job instead of my friend that has the exact same name. And let me tell you, that was an uncomfortable phone call with her, with my other boss, and several other people that found out about it. And I had to inform them and show them the proof, show them the Carfax of what was going on. And I can promise you that is not a situation I would really want my worst enemy going through. It was very uncomfortable, and it still makes me uncomfortable to this day when it gets brought up. And it's all just part of life. It's going to happen from time to time. There's nothing that you can do about it. Hopefully yours isn't that bad, but being uncomfortable is a part of life that you're going to have to adapt to and just learn how to cope with. Whether that be, like I said, making content, some uncomfortable person at your job, or just meeting someone new. It's something that you're going to have to deal with. And there's plenty of ways to go about trying to make yourself more comfortable. But the best one is most definitely exposure therapy and exposing yourself to these uncomfortable situations. And so what? Some people don't agree with you. They don't like you. They're going to make fun of you no matter what. But you just need to be able to figure out how you can take that on the chin and end up turning it on them to where it makes them feel like a jerk or makes them feel uncomfortable in that situation for trying to be like that to you. But it takes some time and it takes a lot of work. But just so you guys know, you're not the only one that's uncomfortable in a lot of these situations. I myself, as well as many other people, are really easily made uncomfortable when going into these types of situations. And I just want you to know that you're not alone, and it happens to all of us, and there are workarounds for it. It just takes some time and some practice. But with that all being said, you guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. It was kind of rambly and a little off kilter, but it's something that I thought I would just bring up and share with you guys. So with that all being said, you guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. I will catch you all Wednesday for another video and hopefully Friday for another financial video. So with that all being said, you guys, my name is Dan. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.